So it looks like we are going to be facing a little bit of a contraction in the economy, and I wanted to chat about what that looks like for marketing leaders over the sort of short to midterm. Hi, my name is Rion Haber. I am the lead strategist and one of the co-founders of Catalyst Marketing Agency. We're an integrated marketing team, HQ'd in Seattle, but working nationally. So I think one of the first things when we think about contractions, there are different types. You've got sort of national, global, recessionary, macroeconomic factors. You've got industry or vertical disruptors in the marketplace, that sort of thing. That may have an impact on a company's financial health. I mean, you may even have local impacts from things like business restructuring, but they all have the same effect at the end of the day. And that's really sort of this effort to reduce the output of the organization from a monetary standpoint. And I think while that is sometimes necessary, there are some, we can do real damage to ourselves in that process. When we rip out the roots of any department or system, you're going to do some damage. And we hope that that damage is not all-encompassing or long-lasting, but oftentimes the way that we incorporate sort of sweeping layoffs tends to be. So I want to talk about like sort of 4 alternatives that marketing leaders have. I don't know if they're direct alternatives to actual layoffs, but they are something that we can keep our eye on in the months preceding that, and that can help us sort of reduce the impact of that. And it really boils down to 4 things. The first one is narrowing your audience. I think as a small business, we start off with 100% product market fit because we don't have that many resources, and we want to make sure that every dollar we're spending is going to an audience who actually cares about our product and is interested in buying from us. As we grow, that PMF tends to decrease, which is healthy and is a good thing. We're pushing the edges, we're testing out new waters, we're seeing how our product may fit for new audiences. When we see financial threats or business threats on the horizon, one of the first things that I recommend doing is sort of taking another look at who that audience is and shrinking that back down to say, who is our 85, 95, 100% product market fit? The people that we know are pretty damn likely to respond to our messaging, to buy our products, to recommend those products. And I think it's one of the things that gets forgotten about sort of in these sweeping, in these layoffs, is the idea that when you're a growing organization, you are pushing these boundaries a lot. One of the quickest ways to cut expenses can be to bring those boundaries back in and come back to your roots and say, who are we selling to and how often are we get it? What are our acquisition costs? Because we don't have the extra money to spend on a 50% person who's 50% likely to convert. The second one is updating your messaging. I think there are, people buy for different reasons at different times in their life. We tend to think about value props and unique selling propositions and the branding process as being these sort of, okay, I'm going to put it on paper and it's going to stay that way to the end of time. And that's just really not often the way it works. As markets change and cultural things happen and values change, the reason people buy are different, right? And we update our brand books every couple of years because of this. But I think when you have like immediate financial threat, that happens very quickly. And what you really get is people moving from a space of, for example, a cleaning product that's on a shelf. When you're not in that recessionary space, people are looking for, hey, this is the greatest cleaning product on earth. It kills so many germs. Your best friend uses it and she's so happy with it and it smells good and all these other things. When you're in a recessionary position, that becomes, hey, this has more concentrate per bottle. This is going to last you longer. This is going to clean more surface area. And that's just sort of one small example, but it really applies to all organizations. When we take a second look at our messaging and say, what is the attitude of our customers right now? What are they worried about? What are they looking for? And update that messaging, whether that's on ads, on the bottle itself, or how we salespeople talk to them. It can make a really big difference in how many people you are able to convert. The third one is focusing on reputation. I am a huge advocate for advocacy. And I think 95% of brands get advocacy wrong. We all know that word of mouth is by far the most effective and the least expensive way to earn new customers. And I see a lot of brands sort of dancing around, sort of unsure of how to get that. It's a little bit of an ethereal, how do we get word of mouth, right? Because it's so effective and so cheap. To me, advocacy is really born of a brand promise fulfilled. And it's really not that much more difficult than that. As marketers, we're making a brand promise, and it could be as simple as like, hey, this is the best dollar buffet you've ever had. It's not necessarily about the quality of something. It's about saying, here's what I told you I was going to give you, and here's what I gave you, and did it meet the expectation of what I was going to give you? And did it do that well? So when we think about advocacy and trying to grow that and make more value from every marketing dollar we spend, it may take marketing leaders going down the hallway and banging on, sales door and their customer support leaders door and products door and saying, hey guys, we need to sit down and make sure our values are aligned so that everything that we're promising in the first, second, third impression of this product is what we're actually delivering all the way down the line. And that people are coming out of the end of this thing going, wow, got exactly what I asked for. So, again, I think most companies don't do this well, and it's probably going to be on you as a marketing leader to do it, but I think it can pay itself back in spades. And the last one is, of course, examining your operations. And you will likely have to let some people go, especially if you've got sort of a rapid recessionary impact or contraction. But I think that can be tempered quite a bit in saying we grow as teams, and there are certainly expenses that we develop over time that balloon, right? Because that's not our first concern isn't watching every marketing expense down to the penny. But when that contraction hits, what we have to do is effectively make better use of that money. In the time between, oftentimes we've hired an SEO, or we may have 5 too many seats on a piece of software that we're using, or something to that effect. Our goal really should be to quickly get in there and start reducing that. Do we need a 40-hour-a-week SEO, or do we need a 5-hour-a-week SEO? And where can we go to get some of these things so that we can continue this motor running in a way that it can be started back up quickly when the time comes? I think there's a lot of great assets out there for that. And you talk about places like Upwork, where you can go out and effectively build a small team. I wouldn't recommend doing it at scale, but there's certainly, it will get some organizations across the bridge. I think there's also plenty of agency solutions. And when you think about full service agencies that are going to be net less expensive than what you're getting when you're hiring a full internal marketing department for a variety of reasons, mostly because they can get you each of the things that you need at sort of smaller volumes. And when you talk about like integrated agencies that are downscaling entire marketing departments, I think that's probably where the most value lies. But all three of those are an option when sitting down and examining your operations, depending on the size of your existing footprint. So I think as marketing leaders, our intention in this time needs to be effectively some reducing the harm, right? We're going to probably have to let go of some people. Our goal can be to take a look at our department and how that functions, and really refocus on what's important. So that would be narrowing your audience, making sure that your message fits that narrow audience perfectly, making sure the dollars that are spent to reach them are being spent in the most effective way possible. If you'd like to know more, you can visit our website. We actually do have a blog about this at some point in the past. Let me know if you have any questions in the comments, and don't forget to drop us a follow. Thanks.